Hello, good morning. Good morning, you guys. What's going on? Okay, welcome to High Performance Leadership Live. My name is Jennifer Luddington, and I like to be known as Jen the Generator. And I'm a high performance mindset and health coach, and I help people generate their own power to free themselves from the imprisonment of their lies so that you can blow up your beliefs and not your life. And listen, I love supporting really high-performing, driven, boss babe type women who may have somewhere along the way kind of lost that feminine edge, lost the ability to really super connect and get deeper into their intimate relationships. And I also love working with that B-type woman who maybe is, behind the scenes, still hustling hard, still getting after it, but maybe she forgot how to use her voice. Maybe she forgot her confidence along the way, right? Those are my two favorite type of clients to work with. And so if you are one of those two types of women, hang on to your seats because we're going to talk about something today that powerfully really shifted me this weekend. And it's called leadership listening. Leadership listening. And I'm going to talk today about the number one thing that you can do, the number one leadership listening skill you can start to implement today to start to really improve your relationships. And the number one thing you can do to start doing that in your listening skills and your communication skills and your leadership skills is creating safety. Creating safety. Isn't that a weird thing to say about listening? But it's so true. So I'm going to give you a little example. And the reason I'm going to talk to you about what happened to me and my husband this weekend is because it's going to show you, not because I'm going to try to brag about it or how great we are. No, it's actually to show you how terrible I used to be in my communication. In fact, I even posted on Instagram this weekend about how I'm such an over talker that I was putting out this arrogance and like self-righteousness, and I was always over talking. I was never listening. So I've fine-tuned it, and I want to share with you an example of how that happened this weekend. So we're at brunch yesterday, my husband, my two daughters, and they're 13 and 14. I mean, you guys, if you've ever had 13 or 14-year-olds, having conversations with them is never easy. Am I right? So this is the thing. I used to have this story, and this is super vulnerable. I used to have this story about my stepdaughter. I don't like to admit this. I love her to death. But we had, early on, we kind of hit head. She is very quiet and reserved, and I always had this story in my head about she won't open up to me. She just won't open up to me. And why won't she open up to me? And instead of turning it back on me, I was like blaming this child for not opening up to me. This is not easy for me to say. Like, why won't she open up to me? She just won't open up to me. How can I have a better relationship with her? I was literally saying that. And what I forgot along the way was that I wasn't creating safety. She would shut down. She would shut down instead of open up. So there's two things that happen, right, when you don't create safety with people that you're communicating with. The first thing is they shut down, silence, right? The second thing is they get aggressive or go after it and get out of dialogue, right? Because they're trying to defend because you haven't created safety for them. And the way that I wasn't creating safety was I was an over talker. I was constantly talking at this poor girl. And instead of understanding that I hadn't created safety for her so that she could come to me and actually open up. My fault. Mine. Right? Completely my fault, obviously. So what was interesting this weekend is after we have this conversation, right? And I'm going to tell you how to create safety in you. There's a 4-step process to create safety in your communication style. But let me tell you this first. We're at brunch. We're at brunch, guys. And we're having this deep conversation with both girls. Both of them. And we're talking about boys, we're talking about dress code, we're talking about Instagram, we're talking about TikTok. Like, we are talking about all the hard shit. Like the stuff that's like, oh, like my husband literally like, oh, like it's so hard for him. But we were committed to creating safety for these girls. So we did. And we stopped talking and started listening. So we left the restaurant. And this is how creating safety can shift how powerfully you show up in your relationships, your parenting, with your husband, with your boss, with your coworkers. Because once we learned that we needed to create safety for our kids, everything changed. So we leave the restaurant, the girls are walking behind us, and they realize they forgot their masks in the restaurant, so they turn around and go back. And as we're standing at the stoplight to cross the street, the couple that was sitting next to us came up to my husband and I and said, we're getting ready to be parents. Your conversation with your kids inspired us. You guys are doing a great job. My husband and I looked at each other like, yes, winning! But guess how I did that? Through a lot of trial and error, but these are the 4 steps in how you can really create safety in your leadership and your listening skills. So let me go through this. It's really simple. It's really, really simple formula. And if you guys do this, I know it will shift your conversations just like it did for me. So, and for our girls. And so what happened is, these are the 4 steps. The first thing that you do to create safety, the first thing that I do to create safety in my conversations now, after years of blowing up my life by being an over-talker, the number 1 thing is active listening. Now, people talk about this all the time, but my concept of active listening is once I hear what someone says and they're done and they're complete, I paraphrase it back. Short paraphrase. What I'm hearing you say is this. Am I right? They say yes or no. Great. The next step is appreciation. So if I'm listening, I usually get what they're trying to say right. Not the micro version, the macro. So the real intention behind the conversation, not this like little issue, right? We're looking at the bigger problem. So what I hear you saying is this, okay? Then I say, I really appreciate your values and your voice. I really appreciate you sharing your values and your voice with me. Thank you. The next thing I do is apologize. So we've got active listening, so active, appreciation, apologize. Usually in these tough conversations, right, this is an issue that might be coming up frequently. So I say, I apologize if I wasn't able to fully hear you before regarding this issue. I apologize. Disarm, safety, created safety. All of a sudden they're safe. It's miraculous. And then I ask for more. I say, is there anything else that we can talk about so that I can further understand your viewpoint? Zip, zip, zip it. Zip it away, throw it out. Zip it up, throw it out, right? Zip it up, throw it out. I'm not kidding. Be quiet. Even if there's a long pause, quiet. And all of a sudden, the safety you created by active listening, appreciating their standpoint, apologizing for maybe not being in dialogue before regarding this issue, or if it's a new issue, say, I apologize if you haven't felt comfortable being in dialogue with me before. And then ask. So 4 A's, active, appreciate, apologize, ask. Bam, right? And all of a sudden, you've created a safety bubble. And all people need to truly communicate and be in dialogue is safety. It's the number 1 thing you can do in your leadership, your listening skills. And once I learned this, because man, you guys, I have been guilty. I've been the worst listener. And not only was I the worst listener, right? Not only that, but I was on defense, like defending my righteousness all the time, defending it. I got nowhere. All it does is create walls and barriers for the people around you. But once you show up in that way and create a safety bubble for them, let me tell you something. It's like a magic pill. It's like all of a sudden, my girls just start spewing. And we learned so much about them and their lives yesterday in a 90-minute brunch. 90-minute brunch. And guess what? They didn't shut down. Like, you know, when you go to your kids, right? And you're talking with your teenagers, or like sometimes you'll talk to your teenager and they'll just shut down. Nothing. I don't know. Good. Fine. You know what I'm talking about? None of that. It was open, dialogue, conversations, fun, laughter, at ease, not afraid to use their voice, not afraid to share with what was on their mind, because we created safety, right? Safety. So the number 1 key is safety in your communication style. Use your 4-step process. That's active listening, appreciation, apologize, and ask. All right, guys, again, my name is Jennifer Luddington. I really would love for you to check out my website, jenniferluddington.com, for all of my different products, programs, services, coaching, all of that's there. All of my social media channels are there. So go check it out, and I can't wait to see you guys on Friday, because guess what? This month, we're only doing Monday and Friday, High Performance Leadership Live. So I'll see you Friday at 9:30 a.m. Mountain Standard Time.